So, if you've ever whispered, I can't do this anymore, then probably this video is for you. And you're not broken, you're burned out. And this is the way back to your power. So, I want us to talk about parental burnout today. So, parent burnout is a stress related phenomenon, and it's developed when the chronic demands of caring for children consistently exceeds a parent's emotional, physical, and social resources, or basically when there's an imbalance between your resources as a parent and your stressors. And there are four core symptoms of parent burnout. The first one is overwhelming exhaustion. And I'm not just talking about physical exhaustion, we're talking about emotional, spiritual, psychological exhaustion. And that is when you just feel so tired. So even after you've slept for 10 hours, you still feel tired. Even after you've done everything you can to fill yourself up, you feel exhausted. And the second thing is emotional distancing from your child. So with parent burnout, you find out that you get to a spot where you just do the everyday stuff. You check the boxes. So I bath my kids, I feed them, I take them to school, I do whatever I have to do, but I feel disconnected from my children. You feel like you're just going with the flow, just going with what needs to be done. And then the third symptom is a loss of pleasure and efficacy. And that is when you get to the point where you feel fed up, you feel like you're being so hard on yourself, and you feel incompetent. You feel like you're not doing enough, or you just simply feel like you wish you wouldn't be a parent anymore because you're just fed up with the role of parenting. And the fourth thing is there's a contrast between your former and ideal parental self and who you feel you're showing up as today. So there's that painful awareness of that gap between the parent you wanted to be or the parent you used to be and how you feel right now. And it can really trigger that intense guilt and shame because you have this idea of who you want to be as a parent, but realistically, that burnout is making it hard for you to show up as that parent. So these are the four symptoms of parent burnout. And some additional warning signs are the cognitive signs are things like brain fog, reduced concentration, forgetfulness. There's also emotional symptoms like helplessness, irritability, hopelessness, occasional escape or suicidal ideation. And then there's also the behavioral stuff where you feel like you're withdrawing from your family life. So you're there, but you're not there. You're present, you're in the space, but you've checked out. And then it could also lead to increased conflict between your co-parent or your partner and reliance on substances for relief. So a lot of people get to the space where they start to numb themselves with substances. And then we have the physical symptoms where you start to feel that muscle tension. For me, sometimes I feel it in my neck or my shoulders. Or you could feel it in any part of your body, maybe your back, your legs, or you start to feel the headaches, right? And then the gastrointestinal issues, the insomnia. So these are all the symptoms of burnout. And one thing I really want to make clear is there's a huge difference between job burnout and parent burnout. A lot of the information out there is usually around work-life balance and job burnout, but there's a huge difference. The difference is that with job burnout, the cause or the trigger of the burnout is from your work responsibilities. So job burnout and parent burnout may have the same symptoms, but the trigger or the cause is that job burnout is being triggered by your role in your work or in your job, and parent burnout is being triggered by your role as a parent. The only sad situation right now for parents today is that many of us are burning the candle at both ends because we are working parents. We don't have the pleasure of the privilege of just being parents or just being employees or professional people or workers or career people. So you realize that some people and most of us are in situations where we're in high stress jobs, high demanding jobs, working long hours, jobs that are depleting us, are not filling us up. And that's causing job burnout. And in addition to that, we come home and then we also have our responsibilities as parents. And this is where we get into that push and pull situation where when you're at work, you feel like you're not doing enough and you're stressed. And then when you're home, you feel like you're not present enough and you're stressed. So then there's that internal struggle and that internal disconnect. But hey, this is why we exist as the Parent Forge, because you can get out of burnout, or you can get yourself in a situation where you can increase the balance between your risks and your resources. And there are 4 key pillars for shifting from burnout to balance. And I'm not talking about balancing your schedule and having an equal amount of time for work or an equal amount of time for your parenting role. I'm talking about finding that balance between your risk and your resources. And the first key pillar is self-care. And I have a whole video on self-care on this channel, which I can link in this video. But self-care is very important. And I'm not talking about the luxurious stuff where you're going to get your nails done or going for a spa day, but I'm talking about increasing the balance between the things that fill you up and the things that drain you. So it's not Pinterest perfect self-care, it's practical self-care. And that is you intentionally putting things on your schedule that fill you up mentally, emotionally, physically, socially, spiritually. And then the second pillar is self-love. And self-love is valuing yourself by who you are and not what you do, and shifting from that sense of guilt to grace. So self-love is when you can get to the space where you stop doing, because many of us have the primary responsibilities of work and being caregivers. And on top of it, you're busy taking on so many things on your plate because you're valuing yourself by what you do. So you're volunteering for that and volunteering for that. So by the time you realize your cup is full and your schedule or your life is full of things that are draining you. So self-love is when we get to that place where we value ourselves by who we are and not by what we do. And then we have boundaries. Boundaries is learning to say no without shame, so you don't take on unnecessary drains and risks, right? And again, I have a whole video on boundaries on this channel, so I can definitely link it to this video. And then the 4th pillar is delegation. You don't have to do it all alone. And so being able to go like, hey, what can I delegate in my life so that I can reduce the amount of drains or the amount of risks, and that way I can create that balance between my risks and my resources. So this is all definitely a mindset reframe where you want to tell yourself that you're not failing, you're just overloaded and you're burnt out. You want to acknowledge it, right? And then you want to approach yourself with a lot of self-compassion as you work through these pillars. But it's easier said than done. I can tell you do this and then you'll be fine, but definitely it's not possible. So if you're not in your head right now and you feel like, hey, I'm burnt out and I would definitely want to pull myself out of that burnout, then I want to invite you to the Parent Forge, because the Parent Forge was definitely made for you. Okay, first of all, let's start by you subscribing. Leave a comment if you're ready to reclaim your power. And please join us at the Parent Forge. We have free listening circles that are run weekly. And if you want to find out more, go to theparentforge.com, sign up, show up just as you are. You don't need to prep. You don't need to have answers. You don't need to have questions. You can just show up just as you are and start your journey from burnout to balance. Because the key thing is being able to create a balance between our risks and our resources and get into a place where we feel like we are full enough to pour out to our kids and our family and to everything that we do. So check out the Parent Forge and let's start your journey from burnout to balance. Take care.